Hi, my name is Jesse Gotting, and I'll be presenting to you today my idea for my number 3 speech outline for the informative speech. My topic is going to be antibiotic resistance in pathogens, and I hit upon this idea because I'm taking a microbiology course, and I found this subject to be really interesting, and it's also a very pertinent subject because we've all heard about microbe resistance in hospitals and things such as MRSA and that sort of thing. And I think it's something that people would like to know a little more about. So, my speech type that I've developed is a narrative/descriptive speech, and my 3 main points are going to be how drugs work, that fight microbes, how the microbes come to resist the drugs, different mechanisms, and then how this resistance can be conferred onto a whole population. So my introduction is built around a provocative quote that I found from the Surgeon General in 1967, who said that, quote, "It's time to close the book on infectious diseases. The war against pestilence is over," end quote. And I thought this would be an excellent way to kick it off because we obviously know now that microbes are not over. They're not over as a threat to us, and I want to get people thinking about what has changed since then. And to do this, to kind of build my credibility here, I'm going to be using my textbook, Microbiology: A Systems Approach, as well as some articles by Michael Pollan, who is a New York Times writer who writes a lot about health issues and microbiology, and also some other articles that I have found. To recap, or to bridge the gap between the introduction and the main points, I'll try and link the opening quote that I have with the way that microbial drugs work, or antimicrobial drugs work, and see why they were so enthusiastic in 1967 that they could eradicate all infectious diseases. And I'll go into mechanisms such as destroying the cell wall, attacking DNA, and that sort of thing. My second point will be how microbes have come to resist these drugs, the mechanisms that they have, from pumping the drugs back out again to secreting enzymes that just rendered the drugs ineffective. And then my third main point, I will go into natural variants in a micropopulation, how that leads spontaneously to resistance, how that resistance can be given to other microbes, and how selective pressures can make those microbes more prevalent in a population. And for some supports, like definitions, I'll define what a microbe or a pathogen is, or a pathogen as opposed to a microbe is, what an antibiotic is as opposed to an antimicrobial drug, and just some basic things like what is meant by a cell wall or what is an enzyme, and that sort of thing. For transitional wording between the intro and conclusion, as I mentioned, I'll link to the first main point and the opening quote. Between the main body of the speech and the conclusion, I will have a recap. And then after the recap of my main points, I will try and focus on what we can do as people, as individuals, to limit the possibility that microbes will gain resistance to more antibiotics than they have already, and to, what we can do to slow that down. And my clincher will be that antibiotic resistance is a serious problem, but it is one that we can help fix if we know what to do and if we know where to put pressure on officials and such as the animal industry and the use of antibiotics there. So for visual aids, since I'm talking about microbes and things that are too small to be seen with the naked eye, I will have mock-ups and try and help people visualize what's going on. And one idea I have is to make a plastic bag and fill it with little bits of stuff and kind of make it look like a cell. And then when I talk about penicillin destroying a cell wall, I'll have a knife and I'll just poke a bunch of holes in there. Hopefully it'll help stick in people's minds. And that is my speech, and I hope that it makes sense, and if not, let me know. Thanks.